Hello, everybody, and welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to another episode. It's not really a weekly show, is it? Because it's the second time we're doing this, so I won't call this a weekly show. We'll leave that one aside. Maybe it is. But yeah, we're back again here. We're talking about, we've got Knayha back on the show. Knayha, welcome once again.
Thanks for having me. This we could not miss this opportunity to talk about the subject we have, Rohit. So
yeah, absolutely, yeah, definitely. We've got to be on it. So yeah, talking about Champions League, talking about PSG, and you know what? If any of you watch, Randy Orton says that the RKO are the three most destructive letters in sports entertainment. I think what PSG are the three most self-destructive letters in football at the moment. That's what PSG is. It's just unbelievable how they find new ways and interesting ways to kind of always screw themselves over. We're getting here on the show to discuss that, of course, about PSG. I think we talk about a few different things actually. Let's talk about the game itself first, and then we'll get into some other things. There's actually quite a lot of things to discuss and the ramifications of what this game will mean going forward. But let's talk about the game itself. Yeah, I mean, PSG cruising 1-0 up, 2-0 up on aggregate, 60 minutes in. A mistake from Donnarumma. Was it a foul? Was it not a foul? I mean, that's something to debate. But still, almost all of a sudden, the Bernabeu gets up, Madrid get up, and PSG are like, okay, there you go. Yes, I gets it open here. Go ahead, please take us out of it. I mean, how do you describe that?
Pochettino, in a single word, it's the non-winning mentality, or how to I feel just playing defensive. They were amazing in the first half. If you see the first 15 minutes, PSG could have scored 3 goals. Like,
yeah,
they were one-on-one. Courtois needs to be commended. The man of the match for them was not Benzema. He scored the goals, but Courtois saved them 4 goals in the first half, and he saved them. And that otherwise Mbappe was everywhere. I'm like, what is this guy? How, like, why is this guy auditioning? They're going to get you. So so what's the whole thing? And I think but the game was, it's PSG bottling it up again. It's like, commentators talking about 6-1. It's again those things like, they did bottle this, but it's not that they bottled even worse. I would say it's like 1-0 on aggregate up, 2-0 on aggregate by 66th minute or the 60th minute, and then 3-2 in like 17 minutes, right? And that's it. And it's as if they forgot to play football after that. If you look at that game, they were like nowhere. The whole defense, like, and okay, it's the goals. We obviously need to go. I would like we should go over the goals. Like each one of those, like I feel all of them were simply stupid.
Yeah. No, you can take it away. Go ahead. The platform.
Yes, all would have been avoided. Like I'm like, it's like basically you wanted to lose. All like I was watching, I kind of, my brother was sleeping and my brother woke up and I'm like, so in the morning I'm like, okay, PSG lost to Real Madrid 3-2, and he's like, we watched the highlights together and he's like, is this match fixed? this looks like a fixed match. I'm like, why? He's like, look at them play. I'm like, exactly, look at them play. It's like they're like, okay, score. Donnarumma, a world-class keeper, has like what? And it's not like Erling Haaland coming out at Donnarumma. It's Benzema. You just need to protect the ball, and that's the only thing he doesn't do. He just kind of keeps it open, and he's like asking for a foul where the ball is kind of open. So I don't think that was a foul in my mind. It's pretty much clear that the goalkeeper played for a foul. He wanted that to be a foul. That's why he's like, okay, I'm kind of down. But then he should not be with the ball for that long and just like not at his feet. The ball was not at his feet. When he kicks it, then it's kind of, he gets a shoulder, I would say. And that's expected. You do try to knock it off. But then that first goal was like completely avoidable. And the second goal was like, it's again like, how does that ball get to Modric, and Modric nutmegs up for a pass, and that positioning from Benzema? I'm like, that ball is dead. If you look at what's happening on the left wing, where the moves with Vinicius, and he's tried to like, and then he's puts it to Modric, and he's like, Modric is just kind of like almost like a magician, be like, okay, they're gonna fall, and they fall. They literally fall. Everyone's like, nobody's marking. I don't know what Marquinhos is doing. Who's he looking at? Marquinhos needs to be next to Benzema, and he's like looking at somebody. I guess he's like looking at Vinicius Junior to like kind of shoot or something. So that didn't make sense. And the third goal was like, again, Marquinhos is like, okay, we are in a training session. Let's see if you can shoot first time. And he shoots. And it's like Benzema is walking in the park and he connects perfectly. And whoa, bottom corner. Boom, done. And then it's difficult. It's Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid. It's kind of, yeah, you can't come back out of it. But then, yeah, it's, I think I'll shut up now. What do you think, Rohit?
No, you know what? It's, I mean, the I think it was Glenn Hoddle, wasn't it, on commentary? It was like, these guys are playing like schoolboys, but schoolboys who never played football before. And I think he made that like 3 or 4 times. He made that comment. So I don't know. Maybe, yeah, it's just, it was funny. It was comical watching that game itself. But you know what? I mean, beyond the goals, and I think I'm going to get into a little bit more specifics. Number one, Lionel Messi. I know you know, Messi is like a deity in itself for you, but I know it's like a little bit of a hard thing to talk about. But I mean, what must be going through his mind? Because, you know, I mean, he hasn't had a good time of it at PSG at all. And now, you know, he's also out of the Champions League. What did you pick of his body language? I just thought he like didn't care. I mean, he was like, you know, almost felt like he had like given up. Like he was like, yeah, you know, this is like, it was, I don't think he ever had that belief that they were gonna win the thing. You know, we must hurt him that he lost at the Bernabeu for all that he has done. But so what do you make of it? Because and that's pretty significant.
I think it's kind of, I think he would have kind of looked around and he would have seen that nobody's fighting for it, and he's been like, what is happening here? Like, you know, you look at Neymar, you look at Mbappe, you look at the midfield, you look at the whole team. They were like beaten. It's like they were literally beaten. Like, it's not that Messi didn't like. It's very easy to single out. Like his body language is always. We always know in Barcelona when he's kind of, he's had bad moments, and he's like, you would kind of see him walking. Like, I think I remember that game with Bayern Munich, right? The famous game where he's like sitting and hoping to kind of get something done. And when you know, Alphonso Davies kind of walks past him and he's like scores a goal, which is like ridiculous. Cuts across half of the left flank for Barcelona and then passes for a goal. So it's not, I won't say I'm surprised, but what I'm thinking is what he's thinking is he needs Pep Guardiola back.
Yeah, I tell you what, PSG, if you can get Pep to sign for PSG, then we're more than happy. We'll all be more than happy if you can do that. And it's not going to happen, but maybe he can try. Maybe he can try to do that. You're muted.
I think he should just try that. He needs to kind of at least work that way, because I think it makes sense. PSG are a big club. At least, you know, the players that they have are big. They're huge. They're not kind of players who. It's like a fantasy 11, like I would simply say. And you don't you know, when you're managing fantasy 11, you need a player you need a manager who kind of allows them to play and also kind of puts up an idea. So I think it's kind of but I don't know.
You know what? Is it a fantasy 11 though? Is it a fact? Because you know what? They have got 3 very good attackers. Or, you know, obviously they've got 3 very good attackers. But then has that compromised their midfield? And keep in mind, Pep likes midfielders. And I'm not talking Pep here, but people like midfielders, but they just don't have a midfield. I mean, Verratti aside, when you think about it, they've got Gay, they've got Herrera, they've got Wijnaldum. You know, none of them have really done that well. And you got Danilo. It's not really the kind of superstar midfield that you would want. So is it really star 11? I mean, again, you know, Hakimi, is he really a right back? Probably not. The left back, I can't remember who they have at left back. I think it's I forget his name now. Is it Kurzawa? Kurzawa, I think, is the one who's a left back. Generally plays left back, maybe. But yeah, I mean, it's like, I mean, they've got Marquinhos and they've obviously got Ramos, who doesn't play at all. I don't know what Ramos is doing at PSG, and then, you know, maybe trying to like get some money.
Ramos is basically just getting his check, I would say.
Yeah, like
that's what he's basically like. He's like, perfect. They don't care, I guess, to win, and yeah, perfect. We can do this for a longer time, and then thought of.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's not, you know, again, it's at least a build up to a good team, a fantasy 11 team in my mind. It's obviously, you know, what you pointed out is definitely the fact that the midfield is like nowhere there, what it's supposed to be, but you can build on it. Like, you know, you've got players, you've got, you know, these are world class players. I think in my mind, PSG should be really, you know, they should feel that they've done something right to get these players, and you know, the way they got them also. But it can't be only that, right? It can't be that, okay, you got the players and then that's it. You thought Pochettino was your manager. was the right manager for this, and that's not worked. And let's be very clear, that's not worked. I think that's kind of the thing. In my mind, it's basically like you did the right things. You try to play everybody, and you got the right players and stuff. But then no, that didn't work. I think and Nuno Mendes is there. He was there.
Nuno Mendes,
right?
that's right. He's the left back. Nuno Mendes. Yes, that's right.
He's their left back. But again, Nuno Mendes is a star in the making.
Back. I think again he's more of a left wing back. I think Hakimi is more of a right wing back. So you got two players who really can't play in a back four. But then if you sacrifice a defender, who do you take out? Do you take out a midfielder? Do you take out one of the attackers? You can't take out one of the attackers. So how do you go, right? So yeah, I mean that makes sense. I mean there's things to worry about. I guess the other, and there's three questions that I have here. So we'll go the first one. Should Navas have started instead of Donnarumma? Because Navas must be wondering like what's going on. The PSG have 10 goalkeepers, by the way. For those of you who don't know, PSG actually have 10 goalkeepers in their book. So literally they could play, a one striker. They could play, between Mbappe, Messi or Neymar, they go one striker and then play 10 goalkeepers. But surely Navas. That's the thing, isn't it? Again, do you go Donnarumma because he's your marquee signing? Obviously, Rayola's influences there, wants him to start. But then you also feel when Navas has the experience and he knows how the Bernabeu works. He's got that ability, that calmness. That's the kind of haphazard decision making, isn't it, from PSG? That always seems to bite them back because they have to always have these egos that they need to keep in check.
Yeah, I think exactly, and
or not to keep in check, rather they need to appease them. They're not keeping.
I think this is exactly what happens when you have a manager who is not able to deal with such big personalities. Like he's supposed to, he's been okay. Let's talk. Okay, Donnarumma should have started, not started. I don't think, I don't want to comment on that. I feel that, that's a decision. Both are world-class keepers. Navas could obviously be intimidated because he's coming back. It's more like, he knows the environment from the other side. So he knows how kind of pressing could that be. So just playing an advantage because Donnarumma is also a marquee signing, and also he's never had the connection with Real Madrid. Gives them a much clearer mind, knows, tackles it without a bias. In a way, they're the professionals. I'm just kind of thinking about the human side of it, maybe a psychological way. Donnarumma, Navas might be thinking, and Pochettino feels that he's having Donnarumma as an advantage, which is fair enough. These are both world-class keepers. So, and even Donnarumma has spoken about this, and Navas both have spoken about. They're not fighting for spots here. It's not that he's number one, I'm number two. Pochettino keeps rotating them in games as well. But then
because you can't keep rotating goalkeepers either. You need to have one goalkeeper. The goalkeeping one position where you really shouldn't be rotating. I know you want to, but you really shouldn't be rotating in goalkeepers.
But then that's the thing. Like it's like the tricky situation with having like
you have two good. That's
when you have two good goalkeepers, and also the fact when you have like in my mind it's like it's basically the problem they have. Like who did they drop in the front three, right? Can they drop anybody? To get Di Maria in a way, and Icardi get some game time or stuff. They can't. It's almost impossible for a manager, and that's why I got to the manager. It's like it's hard for Pochettino to kind of tell Messi that or tell a player with that stature that kind of you're not starting, or that's going to be hard. So it goes back to like Donnarumma and Navas. Like it's a call which didn't go well, but it could have been the other way. But it's why I bring it back to Pochettino is like who has he managed till now? Like before PSG, his experience or his kind of the managerial experience he's had is with Kane or Bale, or they're not big.
He never managed Bale
when he came back, right? Or no, he didn't come back. When he didn't come, he came back when Mourinho was there. Mourinho got him back. No,
he has not, because I believe he joined the same in 2013, 2014.
When he left,
at that time, just and then I guess that was the year when Bale went to Madrid.
So exactly. So then he's not even managed the biggest ego there was in the Spurs dugout. So it's Kane. Oh. So he's managed Kane.
No, sorry, it was 2015, 2016. I get confused. No, he joined in 2015, 20. He joined the same year. No, I think he joined the same year that Van Gaal joined United. That was 2014, 2015. Bale had already gone back.
Yeah, so Bale had gone. Yeah, so Bale had gone. Bale had signed 20.
I mean, he's
So
managed
Kane is,
Southampton, he's managed Tottenham. I actually want to say Pochettino because there's a very interesting discussion there as well that I want to save for. And we'll save it for that. But before that, I think I just want to. There's an elephant in the room about PSG. Are they, is the fact that they're playing in a one-team league that affects their Champions League form? Does that something that because I'll put this out there. Bayern played probably a worse one-team league than PSG do. I mean, the Bundesliga is worse than the French league when it comes to one-team leagues. So let me just be clear on that. Because PSG at least lose the league once in a while. They've lost it twice in the last 10 years. Bayern have lost it how many times? Zero.
Zero.
So and yet Bayern have won two Champions League titles in that same time. So is one team league the problem? And of course, I have the answer to that. I have a theory on that. But is the one team league a problem according to you, or is it something deeper?
See, I think it doesn't matter because they're professionals. It doesn't matter. It's a competition. They know the stage of Champions League. In my mind, you could basically say PSG trains every day or Bayern Munich trains every day in the Bundesliga, and they just kind of test things out and applies themselves or plays the hardest in the Champions League. But then that's not true. Like they do suffer. It's hard as well. Like so. One team league, I know the concept of like it's like you're winning, but then PSG does bottle it. So I think that's kind of one of the things as well. Is like it's not that they've been consistent even in that league, right? It's not they've lost. Like so that's kind of a concerning thing. But of course, it's more on the motivation side. But then that's the biggest thing, right, for these players, right? They don't want to win the Ligue 1. Or the Bundesliga, I don't think is a motivation to Bayern players. They're more looking at how many scores can they score in the champion, and that showed, right. 7-1 is like was like basically thumping. But what's your theory? I'm interested to know about that.
My theory is that the problem is, see, in Germany, I just feel that Bayern, of course, are more established than PSG. But what Bayern have done very well is they don't sign players on big contracts, right? They sign players, they have a wage structure. They're like, we're going to pay this much. You sign for us, you sign for us. They've kind of broken it a little bit now with Hernandez and with other players that have come in for big money. But generally, the wage structure is still there. They're not going to pay someone ridiculous amount of wages. So if you want to come to Bayern, this is what we're going to offer you. You take it, or we'll move on to other signings. But they've done also well is they've got German players, young German players that they've brought in to Bayern. I know people kind of say that's buying up the competition, but in some ways it's good to have local players as well because that gives a little bit of that layer of motivation. The problem with PSG and with French football in general is young French players, and there's probably more talented French players than there are German players. Probably. I'm not going to go into that debate. But what a lot of French players feel is they need to go outside.
This is getting controversial now.
Yeah, it probably will be. But I mean, I'm just saying, in general, I'm saying that I just feel that right now, it keeps going up and down, obviously. I just feel that French players feel that they need to go outside of Ligue 1. They don't want to play. A lot of them don't want to play for PSG. A lot of them want to go out of Ligue 1 to go to other clubs. And it's fine, that's just personal preference. They feel that they need to go elsewhere to get that level of football, to get their level up, to progress in their careers. So what's actually happening for PSG is they're having to pay these big contracts to players to get them to come to France because nobody really wants to play in the Ligue 1 unless you give them big contracts, right? And then when you give them big contracts, the problem is now I've got a big contract. If I'm Neymar and I've got 500,000, I'm making 500,000 euros a week. What's my motivation to fight? In this sort of environment? What's my motivation? There isn't, right? What's my motivation if I'm Di Maria or if I'm Draxler? Well, I know I'm not going to start over these guys, but I'm making 300,000 euros a week. I'm making my money, right? I'm not going to start over these guys. What's my motivation? I'm not going to start. So I'm going to, I know that no matter how well I play, I'm not going to start over Messi or Neymar or Mbappe.
Yeah.
So why am I? But I'm still making my 300 grand a week. So so it doesn't matter. Like I'm set for life. I can enjoy myself. So that fight goes on. I'm not saying players don't want to win. I'm saying there's difference in the fight that you show in wanting that there's a difference in the fight that you put in.
Yeah.
And when you don't have that fight, oftentimes, it shows in Ligue 1, you can kind of get away with it a little bit. But in the Champions League games, the ones that you relate to fight, and that's where PSG kind of struggle. So it's not just the fact that they're in a one-team league. I think their weight structure and the way that they sign players needs a bit of an overhaul. They probably need to get away from signing star players. I feel that that's what they need to do. I don't know whether they will do it, but they need to look at how and what the direction is for PSG and how that project is going.
So that's I think I partly agree with that theory, but I feel that PSG know that. So they're trying to establish themselves, right? You don't, it's not that they've only come to the scene since last 10 years, I would say, like 10 to 12, yeah.
Yeah.
10 to 12 years. So it's still kind of fairly new, I would say. At least now at least the players that they now have kind of got them the attention, and now that they're at a bigger stage, like it, and it's because of players, not because of like the club, like PSG. It's just because of
Well, yeah,
Neymar,
you don't
Messi.
need to have that star signings.
Yeah,
Obviously, you can't not have that. I mean, every team has
no,
that. I think they've
no,
just
but
taken it to a ridiculous level, to the point where,
but then that's the thing. Like, but if you're looking at let's say if you're an English player, why would PSG kind of interest you when you know that that's also because it's just the wages, right?
well,
There is
wages,
not.
but that's the thing. If you can say, well, we're not, like Bayern, why does Bayern interest you? Because you're going to win. You might win the Champions League, right? That's where the interest goes. So that's where PSG need to focus now, is to say, we're only going to pay you this much, right? We're not going to break the bank, but we're going to build a team that's going to compete for the Champions League, and you could be a part of that. Now, the thing is, right now, when anybody looks at PSG, they don't see a team that's going to win the Champions League. You could have Neymar, you could have Mbappe, Messi. Nobody sees them as a team that's going to win the Champions League yet, right? So they need to kind of switch that focus, and that's only going to happen when they start getting rid of these star players and start bringing in players who can win,
Actually play.
who can play, and who can build a team. Now, whether that's the part of the project, I mean, at the end of the day, the project for PSG is, we all know what the project is for PSG, and it's not about, it's not about winning football matches. Let's put it that way. They want to win Champions League matches, and they want to win trophies, but that's all subservient to the overall overarching goal. The S word that we sometimes use and sometimes we don't use. So that's where it goes. So but for that project to work, they need star players. So I mean, the question is, they're still winning Ligue 1, they're still winning trophies. The real question is, do they how much they want to sacrifice to win the Champions League versus star power? I think that's the key point there. I know that's the debate. I mean, it's interesting. Let us know in the comment section. What do you think? What do you think about the PSG project, and how do you think that's going to evolve, or how that should evolve going forward? Very, very interesting to read your comments about that as well. But there's one final question, actually. One big question I want to ask now, because that's the elephant, and that's the other elephant in the room, is Mauricio Pochettino. Now, this is pre-recorded, so by the time this goes live, we don't know, maybe Pochettino will be sacked, probably.
I'll just quickly check.
No, he's not done. It's not done yet. Now it's fine right now. It's okay. That notifications will be popping up if that happened. It's not happening yet.
Things will go crazy.
But the key question there is what does the future hold for Pochettino? Not just in terms of PSG, because we know where that's going, even despite what Leonardo might have said. But there's a certain other team that is interested in Pochettino, and where do you see that? Yeah, well, Ganesh checking that. Yeah, where do you see that interest from that certain other club going right now?
What I'm really checking, to be very frank, I can share this. I'm just checking the Fabrizio Romano Twitter handle, and and there was Neymar has posted a WhatsApp chat with Gigi Donnarumma about that reports that Neymar and Donnarumma had to be pulled apart in the PSG dressing room. So they had a fight, and he's posted this and basically said it's absolutely fake and we didn't have any fight. It'll be really funny to kind of get to know if there was any truth that Neymar pulled up Donnarumma and being like, you should have just put that in corner.
What the fight would have been? What, both of them would have gone down without the other touching each other? Who did that? Is that what the fight is going to be about?
Yeah, and they were waiting for Pochettino to show the red card to somebody.
Yeah, well, both of them are going to dive at the same time to try to put the other in trouble. That's what their fight is going to be about. Oh my god.
Anyway, so that's getting funnier. But on Pochettino, he is not liking his time. Like whatever the Leonardo says, the director football for PSG, I don't see him. I think he's just biding his time, I would say. He knows this. He's never going to get this team ever, like from anybody else. And he's just like, if it just clicks, he's just kind of like, because it's not clicking. It's not that, it's his tactics, like the way he likes to play from the back. PSG is not a team who likes to play from the back. Like, look at their team. Like, they're the best 3 forward players in the world. The 3 goals that were conceded were all them trying to play from the back. The first goal was definitely, I'm like, he's halfway. He's on the midfield. He's at the halfway line, and he passes back. And then I'm like, what? That's not what you have. Mbappe is not running, or he's like tying his shoes. What's happening there? Neymar is not central, like not waiting for he's not asking for the ball. Messi is not left, like corner, like you can't rotate. I'm like, and you have 3 midfields. Okay, we don't talk about Verratti and all, but then Verratti is a really good midfielder. So it's not. And Pochettino is kind of, I think he's lost. I think he's lost kind of in his own. He's like, wow, what am I in now? And he's looking at the players that he has, and he's like, how do I manage them in a way? Like he likes to. I think he likes to play with underdogs, and he's trying really hard that PSG is an underdog team, which it is not, which it can't be. I can't call PSG an underdog. At least, okay, on paper you want to see the record, but then when you look at it in the paper, like if you're just comparing that team on paper to paper level, not just kind of go in stats like how many they've won in Champions League and stuff and performances, they're not an underdog. He likes to play them in
I
that
don't think
sense.
Real Madrid are better than PSG man for man. I don't think they are. I think Real Madrid got
No,
a
they're not. No, but then that's the thing. But then
yeah, it's about
so
creating that atmosphere. I understand what you're saying. So then
yeah.
it's a follow-up question though is, I mean, obviously
Now,
Pochettino.
what do you think about this? Like, what do you think about Pochettino right now? Like,
You know what?
how do you like?
I will.
If you are Pochettino, okay, let me put it. If you're Pochettino right now, you've lost this game. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking, well, I mean, when is going to end for me? Because I don't think he wants to be there. Honestly, I don't think he wants to be there. You could see it on his face as well. You know, I don't think he wants to be there, but I'm sure he's not going to resign. Nobody resigns. You're going to get a big payoff. You're not going to resign. Nobody does that, and he's not going to do that. My question though is that because his next job, you know, is probably, you know, it's going to be somewhere, Man United, that's where he's going to go. You know, should he get the job? There's two questions here. Will he get the job, and should he get the job? Right. And I mean, you know, I'll start with you, and then I'll talk about myself. Will he get the job, and should he get the job?
So I think what we have discussed about like our previous episodes about is the pleasing mentality that United has, right? That they but then they it's like they need data points. It's like they just want to see how many people are writing Pochettino and Manchester United together on Twitter, and then do like, okay, I think Pochettino wins. Like even when Ten Hag is still gonna like, he's like, because Ten Hag is not talked about that much because he's a quiet person. He's not English, you know. He's not played with the English club like or managed the English club before. In the Premier League, and he's like, so and United likes to kind of propagate that, like, don't go on the like he's a serial winner.
Yeah,
Ten Hag is a serial winner, but Pochettino is not a serial winner. But then he's like he could be somebody that they could dominate in a way, that the board could kind of put their kind of put their or share their inputs, if you say not, and you know, and then so on and so forth. So it is very, very likely that Manchester United will kind of be like, okay, we need this guy. PSG is going to be like, okay, you can have him. And then PSG looks for a new manager, and they might sign Ten Hag in that way. And you know, they end up winning the Champions League next year. And United is like, oh, why are we just kind of have accumulated a full bag of shit like this whole thing in the end, and Pochettino just kind of cherry on the cake there on the shit pile. But yeah, what do you think? It's just me ranting now. So what do you?
Well, okay, sorry, good. I'm gonna lose you here. So should he get the job? No, absolutely not. I don't think he should. And the reason for that is quite simple. He can't manage egos at PSG. He's not going to be able to do it at United for sure. Will he get the job? I think after last night's game, he definitely will, because from everything that I saw, I said, this guy is perfect for United. Number one, he's going to be free. He's going to be sacked. So he's going to be free. They're not going to have to pay compensation. That's money. I mean, they have to pay compensation for Solskjaer. They have to pay compensation for Rangnick. So, you know what? It's time to save some money, right? The books have to be balanced from somewhere. That's where they're going to balance it. They're going to get Pochettino. And watch out. There's going to be stories about how Sir Alex Ferguson likes him, how Gary Neville likes him. You're going to hear all of these sort of things. All these guys are going to come out, and, you know, that's the way that they will operate. Because they want everybody else to be blamed for this. If it goes wrong, it goes wrong, right? If you use legends' names and fans come on side, apparently, and if it goes wrong, it's like, well, we didn't pick him. You know, we listen to Gary Neville, we listen to Sir Alex. You know, do you want us to question whatever? So yeah. So first, you're muted.
It's basically like the fans wanted him. We didn't make the fans.
Yeah, well, the legends wanted him, and so we listen to our legends. You know, like, yeah, sure. Anyway, so first of all, that's one reason. The second reason, I think, very important, is the fact that I saw. He's not a guy who's going to drop. He's not a guy who's going to drop players, who's going to be hard on players. I mean, that's just one thing. I mean, Donnarumma should not have started. According to me, I think Navas is a better keeper, but he started. Messi started. Neymar started. Mbappe started. I think Messi should have probably come off. Neymar should have probably taken somebody off, but he didn't take them off because he can't take them off. And that's what United again. Maguire can play every game. He's going to be shit, but he's going to play every game. You know, McTominay is going to play every game. Fred is going to play every game. Rashford is going to play again. I just can't believe Rashford is apparently And I don't want to make this about United, but Rashford apparently is considering his future because he hasn't started 3 games. You've been shit. I love Rashford, but he's been shit, and he should be thinking that how can I improve my performances and how can I fight for my place? But no, I'm actually considering my future because I can't play. Anyway, whatever.
This United, just to add, just to kind of say, United has become a PR engine now. It's all about like, I don't like this, and you're not talking about how shit you've been. You're basically saying that, okay, I'm not getting game time. I think I should write something or possibly put in the news that I'm looking for a change to PSG.
It's just funny, but that's what they will do. And same with Shaw. Shaw is content to think of a new contract. But Shaw, you've been shit as well. And okay, fine, you want a new contract, but he's gonna think about it like as if any other club is interested in him. But anyway, but that's all beside the point. My point is that the players will like him because he will play them, and he will not try to upset the apple cart too much. So he'll play them. Those who are on the fringes will probably hate him, but I don't think those on the fringes. I don't think the board cares about them much anyway. It's the money. So again, he's good on that. I think the most important thing is the fact that he doesn't criticize much. He doesn't criticize the board much. And PSG as well. He doesn't criticize the board much. He doesn't say it he doesn't fall too much out of line. They want that. They want somebody who can do all that. So I think he ticks all 3 boxes. For me, he ticks all 3 boxes. And of course, people will troll that he's also, he also has bad second halves and, that he's a bottler like United. All of that, yeah, it's all fine. But I think, is he a good manager for Manchester United? No. Is he a good manager for the Glazers? Absolutely. I think he is. And so I think, I think this match only strengthens my theory that yes, he will sign for United. Definitely. I think that will happen. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't. And I put this, nobody knows this, but I did comment this once. A part of me will die when Pochettino becomes manager of Manchester United. A part of me literally will die because, so it's tough. But anyway, we don't want to make this about Man United. This is about PSG.
I think a part of Spurs will also, or a part of Spurs or PSG will be happy. It's like, finally, we have eliminated a Champions League contender in some sorts.
Well, PSG will care much. I don't think we're going to beat them, but anytime soon. But Spurs, yeah, I'm sure Spurs will be happy. I'm sure other Premier League clubs will be happy as well. The likes of Wolves, West Ham, Spurs, Arsenal will be happy that they won't have to deal with even Aston Villa, Newcastle. They'll probably be happy as well that United are not going to be, anywhere near the European spots. Forget top 4.
They don't need to think about too much,
for a while. So anyway, that's something for the future. Let us know, what do you think about PSG's serial cases of always managing to self-destruct, in critical moments. I know this is what we're talking about PSG, where we kind of went on a tangent about United, but actually we're talking about PSG and how much they've struggled. I mean, the fact is it Paris Saint-Germain? Somebody I think made that comment, that Paris Saint-Germain, they are very Spursy in the Champions League. But what is the way back for PSG? Is there a way back? What the future holds. I know this is not the biggest story, by the way of the day. I know there's something else that's brewing as well, and we might have comments in that coming up as well later another time. We'll probably do that as well, talking about Chelsea and what's happening there. It's a big crisis that's brewing there as well. So we'll talk about that. But in the meantime,
very interesting to kind of keep your track of that as well, because sanctions coming in, who can't go in. That's a developing.
I'm always skeptical of that. I'll talk more about it, but I'm always skeptical about it. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also share your comments on what do you think about PSG's bubble job and how that could have been avoided. Could it have been avoided? Could they have done something different? Can they do something different now going forward? To change it. Let us know what you think. I'm always love to hear from you and hear your thoughts on this as well. Thank you so much, Knayha, for joining me today. Always a pleasure
to
have you.
This is nice.
Have a good day or night, whatever time you're watching this, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care. Bye bye.